tell me kind of the problem that you're trying to solve and what you're doing for big broadcasters like ESPN.
Sure. It's well, the problem is about quality and about the experience of online video. At Conviva, we're extremely passionate about trying to help content companies improve the quality of online video. The way we talk about it is we help them protect their audiences from the things that audience hate. Like if you're like me, what you hate is right when you're watching very compelling video, at the worst possible time, it starts to rebuffer or stutter, or the audio gets out of sync. And what we're able to do, Conviva's able to do, is help content companies preempt those conditions. And what we've proven is that people who get interrupted watch less video, about 30 to 80% fewer minutes. We're very complementary. We work with both Microsoft and Silverlight as well as Adobe Flash. What we do for them is help them select the optimal bitrate at an exact moment in time. Really what we're always looking at is engagement. So we make adjustments when we see that it's going to drive more minutes viewed. And so that's how we sit. So in the case of Adobe's relationship with ESPN and us for the World Cup, we are actually sending intelligence into the Flash Media Server to tell it when to make a bitrate adjustment, as an example. We are taking statistics. We're tracking state of your experience in real time. We can do it as frequently as every second. We have algorithms that are predicting, inferring when you're about to get interrupted, ripped out of that user experience. And before that happens, in the player, we can make two decisions depending on the characteristics we see as to the cause of your interruption. We can throttle the bitrate. If you're watching at 1 megabit per second and you're about to go into rebuffering, we can drop you down to 700 kilobits and bring you right back up as soon as your buffer starts to fill again. If we detect and diagnose that the problem's out in the internet, in the delivery network, maybe it's on a particular region within a content delivery network, we can actually midstream switch you to another delivery network or another resource and keep it synced and smooth to avoid that problem.
Are you managing this process or implementing this process in North America or overseas, or what's the scope of it?
So right now, as of today, we are in 52 different brands, mostly in the U.S. So premium brands, like Fox and ABC, Disney, ESPN, NBC. We have a customer in Italy and Norway, Australia. So we're starting to get pulled into those markets, mainly by people who have seen what we're doing for U.S.-based media companies. In terms of consumers and consumption, how big the problem is, I do think it's a tidal wave coming. Today, according to Nielsen, in the U.S., on average, people are consuming about 4 hours of video online a month. But if you look at how much total video is consumed, you consider traditional television, that's 141 hours of video per user per month. So whether that comes to the browser, into the traditional internet sets, or whether the internet comes to the television, the consumption is going up. And so traditional delivery networks on the internet have got to be able to scale to handle that. So that's one factor of the tidal wave. The other is just the expectation of higher and higher definition. The most premium streaming companies are delivering, sort of in the 3 megabits range. It's sort of the norm right now is still in the 700 kilobits per second range of quality. Even at the highest end, when you start considering, well, how do you compare that with the expectations of consumers on standard definition television or high def television or Blu-ray disc? Standard definition television and DVD is over double the bits per second of 3 megabit stream. If you go up to HD, that's about 5 times, and if you go to Blu-ray disc, it's well over 10 times the bits per second. So you've got the convergence, so more consumption, across connected platforms, and then the higher expectation of bits. The largest day on the internet so far, according to major US content delivery networks, has peaked out at about 3 terabits per second. If you assume that this convergence happens and people watch television kind of scale hours per day, you're talking close to 200 terabits per second of sustained traffic. Those networks are not necessarily 100% ready for that. In order to manage that and manage the variability that's inherent when you are scaling these networks so rapidly, you've got to be all the way watching the user. You can't be trying to do that from the center of the network. And so we think we have a role to play because we're watching every individual user. If you encounter variability in your zip code or on your own edge of the network, we see your frame rate starting to slow down. The second it happens, we start to move you to a safer place, therefore balancing the effect of flash crowds and other things. So we want to work with all the content delivery networks, all the telcos who are trying to prepare for this storm, and we think we add a level of sophistication to help them manage through that.